From CITI program, I'm Darren Gaddis, and this is On Campus. Today, what are best practices to foster campus collaboration, how working together can make a campus a safer place, and how Clery Act compliance is an institutional effort. I spoke with Ed Purchase, the Public Safety Operations and Clery Act Training Coordinator at the University of North Carolina System. As a reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to provide legal advice or guidance. You should consult with your organization's attorneys if you have questions or concerns about relevant laws and regulations in this podcast. Additionally, the views expressed in this podcast are solely those of the presenter. How can campus collaboration and compliance with the Clery Act work together?
Compliance with the Clery Act is an institutional responsibility, full stop. And it can be easy for some folks to view Clery as merely an aspect of campus law enforcement. And this perception is aided and abetted by the fact that most designated Clery compliance officers or coordinators, are housed within the police department. And they are either sworn officers themselves or, in a best practice case scenario, they are a direct report to the chief of police and director of public safety as a non-sworn administrator. In each of the former schools that I've worked at and in the system that I serve at now, we see that mix. The 16 campuses we have that mix, and that's reflective of nationwide trends. As far as ensuring that institutional responsibility, I think it helps to frame the perception of the Clery compliance officer. And so when I talk to them about working on our campuses or about how to engage folks on our campuses, I always refer to them as, hey, let's reach out to your campus partners. These are the people that are working alongside you towards the goal of not only Clery compliance, but other institutional focuses as well. But it helps to look at them as partners. And I feel that helps to frame that conversation.
Ed, thank you so much for that explanation. Unpacking that a little bit more, why is it important to work across departments at an institution on compliance topics such as Clery Act?
Well, as I said before, Darren, it really falls upon the institution as a whole to pursue and ensure compliance with the Clery Act. And that's everyone from the chancellor or president on down. They all have a role. Early on, when I served as a Clery compliance officer on a campus, I made sure to try to build those relationships, because early on I got advice from a prominent figure in the national Clery conversation. And I asked him point blank, I was new to the role and feeling kind of overwhelmed. I asked him, I said, is total compliance with the Clery Act, is it obtainable? And they told me basically to the effect of, well, if it's just you, then no. But if you can get your colleagues, your campus partners on board, then you absolutely can obtain compliance, total compliance with the Clery Act. And looking back, it seems so obvious. But when you're young and you're dumb and you think asking for help is a sign of weakness, but really it's like that line from the movie Jerry Maguire: "Help me, help you." And again, you want to phrase it in such a way that you're engaging your campus partners towards a joint goal of compliance.
And from your experience supporting institutions across the University of North Carolina system, what are some best practices to help foster collaboration with compliance of the Clery Act across institutions?
Darren, that's a great question. And when I talk to the Clery compliance officers that I work with in the UNC system, and then those opportunities that I have to talk to Clery compliance officers across the country, I tell them that first and foremost, they should know their audience, and chiefly what concerns or motivates them. Some departments heavily focused on compliance, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, ensuring that they are meeting the requirements. Other folks, it's about student success and development. It's that more hands-on personal service that matters to them. How can we help our students? And other folks, it's about enterprise risk. How can we minimize the risk to the institution? And obviously, Clery touches all of those areas. And so when I'm talking to the Clery folks and saying, hey, when you're sitting across the table from the campus partner, learn their language, translate Clery accordingly, make Clery real to them. And when they have bought in, you'd be absolutely surprised at the results that you can achieve together. That's the first piece. The second piece is kind of an offshoot of that, and it is a runaway best practice. The Department of Education, every time that they issue an audit or they do a federal program review, one of the things that they always say that a campus needs to do to rectify whatever issues they were having with Clery compliance is establishing a Clery compliance committee. And this committee is, as the name implies, we're bringing in folks from across your campus, from across these different departments, across these different divisions, senior leadership within those departments and divisions. We're bringing them in together for the joint purpose of achieving Clery compliance on your campus. And whenever possible, you want to make this, you want to stand up this committee in a formal capacity with a formal charge, chancellor, president, or board. Typically, a formal charge of that nature results in some sort of annual reporting of what your committee has accomplished or is accomplishing or looking to accomplish. And that always is a great idea because it elevates the Clery compliance program. You're making it, by establishing this committee, you are formalizing your institution's commitment to Clery compliance. And you get all the folks in the same room, you get them all marching to the same sheet of music. Again, you'll be floored at what you can accomplish.
Do students need to be concerned with cross-campus collaboration efforts on Clery Act compliance and their confidentiality?
Darren, that is an excellent question. And as I sit here, I think the best way to answer that is to read directly from the regulation itself. And there are no less than 5 or 6 places that specifically spell out how an institution is to protect the confidentiality of the folks that they are serving in pursuing Clery compliance. So if you'll bear with me, I'm gonna read directly from the regulations here. The first place that I want to read from is talking about the annual security report and information that must be contained within that document. Mandates that the campus has to publish this by October 1st of every year. And this, there's a kind of a litany and list of things that must be in this document. And this particular section here is talking about how the campus will be responding to situations of interpersonal violence or sexual assault. So it says here, provide information about how the institution will protect the confidentiality of victims and other necessary parties, including how the institution will complete publicly available record keeping, including Clery Act reporting and disclosure, without the inclusion of personally identifiable information about the victim. And then later on, it says that they will maintain as confidential any accommodations or protective measures provided to the victim, to the extent that maintaining such confidentiality would not impair the ability of the institution to provide those accommodations or protective measures. This is telling the campus that they will assist you without identifying who you are.
Ed, that is great information. You spoke a lot today about campus collaboration. What else do we need to know?
Well, Darren, first of all, thank you for the time. Thank you for the opportunity. I think, honestly, it all comes down to accessibility. Collaboration opens doors. As I said early on, there are so many data points, so many collection points, so many opportunities for information to be received. You have to make sure that the conduits of getting that information to the right people are wide open. And so, collaboration, I found that it leads to and grants you access to faculty, staff, to students, access to incident reports that come to student conduct or the dean of students office or various conduct offices on campus. We talked about the notification pieces. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. It takes infrastructure. It takes tech support, facility support, maintenance. The access that comes through collaboration is critical. And probably most important, it grants you access to senior leadership. be it your chancellor or maybe even your dean of students, your athletic director, folks that are typically much higher up in the hierarchy. It helps them understand the work that their departments are doing and the work that their departments need to do to ensure compliance.
Ed, thank you for joining us today.
Well, Darren, thank you so much for having me.
Next month, we will be talking with Abby Ogden from University of California, Berkeley on the topic of annual security reports, campus safety, and why numbers matter. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to On Campus with CITI program to stay in the know. I also invite you to review our content offerings regularly as we are continually adding new courses and webinars that may be of interest to you. All of our content is available to you anytime through organizational and individual subscriptions. You may also be interested in CITI programs GDPR for Research and Higher Ed course. Please visit the CITI program's website to learn more about all of our offerings.